Welcome back, Truth to a T. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and leave a comment down below. Check the video description for valuable discount links. Well, this is probably going to be the crappiest video of all time ever recorded. I'm sorry, I don't have my microphone, I don't have any of my gear, but I have to make this video because something has spawned this in my mind. I watched somebody today talk about how dishonest the car business is, and it sure is, man. And I had forgotten, actually, not forgotten, but I never talk about my experience in the car industry on this channel because it's so long ago, it seems insignificant to me now, but it is important. I left school when I was very young, 14 years old I left school. And I'm not saying that's a good idea, but I've done okay, but it's not a good idea. But I became an apprentice mechanic. One of the things I did was I wanted to learn how to fix cars. I love cars. My brothers were into stock car racing. We were always fixing cars. I was every morning, noon, and night, I was fixing cars. I was around cars. Everybody was fixing cars. Ireland was a very poor country then, so you had no choice but to buy an old piece of crap car. You couldn't afford a new one. Very few could, and then you fixed it yourself. Anyway, I digress. The point to this video is, I saw back then the con game that was the car industry. I mean, people would practically duct tape cars together to sell them, sometimes very dangerous cars. And that has changed, of course, but now you have Carfax, especially in America, you can get in a lot of trouble now if you sell something really defective, although in some states there aren't even lemon laws. But here's the thing. You go into, to this day, even if you go into a so-called reputable dealership to purchase a car, as soon as you walk in the door, you're a target. And it could be a smooth-talking guy or girl, and you look at a car, let's say you look at ABC car over here, and it doesn't matter what the brand is. And you're like, okay, 50,000, I want that car. And salesman says, sure, we'd love to put you in that car. And then you go into this other office and you sit down with another guy, and then they start the sales pitch. And before you leave there, and I'm not going to get into each individual thing because you already know that, right? But you go through all these things, and then it's $60,000 or $65,000. And then they make it sound like, well, it's not a big deal because you rolled it into the payment. It's an extra $3 a month or $4 a month, whatever. Here's the bottom line. You've been shafted. You've been totally screwed by these people. And they're doing it to this day, and they're still getting away with it. Now, also the service centers. So once you buy that new car, and of course, it's under warranty, you go to the service center, you're good. But what happens when that car goes out of warranty? Now, you're an absolute target as soon as you get into the service center. Because the truth of the matter is, the guy who's running the service center is on commission. So he or she is paid based on the amount of volume that comes through that service center. So, I mean, you're a target as soon as you walk in there. A couple of years ago, we used to have it was 2006 Prius. It was one of the first, I think that might have been the first year, or maybe it was the year before Prius came out. Great car. We kept that car for years, never had a problem with it. But in 2013, there was all these lights started coming on the dashboard, and my wife, I wasn't available. My wife took it to a Toyota dealership. And they checked out the car, blah, 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 blah. She came home and she told me the story. She said, that car is dangerous. She said, I was actually scared to drive it there and drive it home. They were actually trying to sell me a car. I said, tell me what they told you. They basically scared the hell out of her. They told her that the car at this point was a death trap. If she drove it, she could get really badly hurt. It's falling apart. She needed to buy a car. She needed to buy a new car. So I have a few friends who are mechanics, thankfully. And my one friend, Mark, I took the car to him. I said, do me a favor, can you take a look at this? He said, sure. He put his little scope on it, his little computer gadget. It turns out there's a battery in the back of that car. There's a second battery, not the regular battery, there's a second battery. The battery was bad. And I forget what we'd paid for the battery, a couple of $100. The car was fixed. This stuff goes on to this day. And if you don't believe that, send your wife, your daughter, your sister, your aunt, whoever it is, your mother, send them to get an oil change and watch how many things they try to sell you. It's a total con game, and it goes on to this day. I am sitting right now, I'm driving in a 2022 Tesla Model 3. I wanted a Tesla. I love the company. Obviously, I do videos on it. But I went on the website. I picked out the car I wanted. I picked a couple of little things. There's not many options for these. You have like 4 colors, whatever. They have more now. But back then, you had 4 colors. Not much to choose from. I clicked send, and I purchased the car. A couple of days later, whatever it was, I got a notification that I needed to go to the service center to pick up the car. I go, I get a 10-minute little tour of the car. They give me my key cards. There's no keys for these cars. They give me the key card, and they set it up on my iPhone. They set up the app, and I drove out of there. That was 67,000. Let me say that again. That was 67,000 miles ago. And the only thing I have done to that car from that day until right now, as we speak, is 1 set of tires and windshield washer fluid. We have never even changed the wiper blades on this car. We have never changed the brakes on this car, because this car has regenerative braking. So when I slow down, when I take my foot off the gas, most of the time I'm in full self-driving anyway, but when I take my foot off the gas, if I'm not in self-driving, the car itself slows down. So you rarely use the brakes. And guess what? There's nothing else to fix in this car. And don't let people lie to you about all the batteries die and it's $50,000 to replace the battery. It's not. That's a total bullshit story, and stop listening to people. The battery warranty on this car is actually 120,000 miles. And I can guarantee you, you don't have to believe me, just do a quick search. There are thousands of cars out there that have well over that amount of mileage on them, and the batteries are still fine. So don't be conned. Now, dealerships are still conning people, quick lubes are still conning people, and service centers are still conning people. And